Welcome back to my little channel. Sorry I haven't been here for almost 2 weeks, but there were certain things happening and then I got sick. Nothing worrisome, nothing worse, just a cold. But because of that, I had no voice. And having no voice and making YouTube videos, they don't really go together that well. I hope you guys didn't miss me too much. Then again, if you binge watch my stuff, then you wouldn't even know the difference. And considering the amount of... No, I'm rambling. I'm going to do a video about Jacob Rees-Mogg and Guy Verhofstadt, I'm sorry, talking about what they are going to do because of the Brexit. To be more specific, they are talking about the border between the UK and Ireland, because in all fairness, this is the only border that the UK really has with Europe. And it's kind of funny, because Jacob Rees-Mogg is trying to get clear what the European Union wants. No, I'm not going to continue. Listen to it yourself.
I want to follow up on one of Mr. Wilson's questions on the Irish border to get your view on what would happen in the event of no deal. If the UK did not put up a border, would the European Union require Ireland to put up a border?
In all fairness, this is the main question of this video. If the UK doesn't set up a border with Ireland, should Ireland do it for the European Union? Now, it's a straightforward question. And now you will see some incredible politicking, I guess. Backtracking, double-speaking, or whatever you want to call it. I have to admit, I'm somewhat surprised that I haven't seen any of the other big YouTubers pick up on this one.
Yeah, in the case of a no deal, then automatically there will be a border. Eh?
But how will that border suddenly appear? Is there any marking going on the ground? I mean, will this grow out of the ground all by itself? Or will people have to put it there?
Well, the UK has made it clear it won't put up a border. But the UK has made it clear it won't put up a border. We'll have no physical infrastructure.
They have said in the beginning a small border.
But the EU...
There's a border, a small border?
Well, there's a border already, but the EU would, under those circumstances, put up a physical border. Is that correct?
But we want, in any way, to avoid it.
Yeah.
Our basic principle is we don't want it. That's also the reason why we want an agreement.
Yes.
And you prepare yourself always for the worst scenario, but that is not our thinking for the moment. No. And we want to avoid it in any circumstances.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood. I mean, I thought I heard someone say that there would be a border, but now I hear someone say we don't want a border. And did I really hear them say that?
Yeah, in the case of a no deal, then automatically there will be a border. Eh?
So there will be a border, but the UK doesn't want it, and the European Union doesn't really want it, but there will be a border. I'm not sure if I understand this right.
And so...
But are you
saying... but what are you going to do when this is happening and this is happening? That is not the way we are working in, because that should be a very bad starting point for the negotiations.
But that's exactly what's being done by the attempt to draw backstops. It's saying what will happen
in the backstop.
The backstop, the whole point of a backstop is what happens in the event that things don't happen.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to establish is that in the event of no agreement, which is not impossible, and the UK does not put up a physical border, will the EU insist that Ireland puts up a physical border?
See, I don't really understand Jacob here. I mean, Guy Verhofstadt, not Guy Verhofstadt, Guy Verhofstadt, already said that they don't want a border. So why is he asking if the UK should make a border? Then again, another guy, Guy, said that there will be a border. So maybe it's not that stupid of Jacob to ask clarification. But then again, this is the same question he started with. So, points to ponder. Let's see where this goes, shall we?
Well, automatically then there is a border. The question is that we prefer the backstop option in that case. Okay. Maybe you can, to avoid a border from your side, then accept the backstop option. That could be also...
No, we can avoid a border unilaterally. We can simply say we're not going to put up a physical border.
Yeah, okay, but you could also...
And then would the EU insist that the Republic of Ireland did?
No.
Because if you wouldn't, then the whole issue's gone away, because if you're not insisting on a hard border,
no, we're
not going to insist on a hard border, who is the magical person insisting on a hard border?
Yeah.
Wow. The only thing I can say here is...
BOOM! Headshot!
And before people start talking about how I want something physical to happen to Guy Verhofstadt, no, that's not what I meant. What I meant is, dude, you just got owned. Well done, Jacob.
Yeah, but there will be still not regulatory alignment, for example, between the North and South. So we will have to deal with that problem.
Yes, but
that's the reason why it is absolutely to avoid that we have no deal.
No,
that's to for you unilaterally and for us not only unilaterally, to avoid that we need to do something what we don't want to do.
But you would have a choice not to impose a physical border in the event.
No, we have no choice. The border is the.
Okay, so you would have no choice. So why?
The rules are the rules. We cannot change the rules. So, but we want to avoid that. We have to apply that, and that is the reason why you have, Mrs. May, and in this interview has be in agreement with the backstop. So for us, if there is no, the backstop assures that we have no hard border to install, because the backstop avoid a hard border and makes that there is regulatory alignment and customs arrangements as they exist today between Northern Ireland and the Irish Republic.
Thank you. What you said is extremely important. You said that the EU would insist on a hard border with no agreement because the rules are the rules. But the EU, when it suited it, has not always stuck to that position, has it?
Sorry?
Well, I seem to remember that the Maastricht Treaty has a no bailout clause for countries that get into trouble in the euro. But when it suited the European Union, the rules weren't the rules, were they? The rules were adjusted to meet the requirements of the time.
No, I should not.
So why are you so solid about the rules being rules?
I should not say, BOOM! Headshot!
I would sincerely suggest that Guy Verhofstadt goes home and does his homework. He seems very ill-equipped for this conversation. And don't get me wrong, I'm not British. And I don't know Jacob Rees-Mogg well enough to be a fan of him or anything like that. I mean, I don't know that much about him. But he is absolutely owning him. Damn!
That we all the time change the rules. That's not true. The Stability Pact and Growth Pact rules are fully applied, but inside these rules there of the Stability and Growth Pact, there is a power competence for the European Commission to say when they are launched. We have done it. We have launched procedures against member states. Even big member states, based on the Growth and Stability Pact for excessive deficit procedure. It's not true that we don't apply the rules.
So the rules were fully applied, were they? So just remind me, what was Italy's debt to GDP ratio when it joined the euro with these fully applied rules? Did it meet the Maastricht criteria?
Too high, but they have been put also under procedures that were.
But it didn't meet the rules, did it?
No, sorry.
No. So the rules were flexed. So the rules are the rules when the EU wants them to be the rules, and therefore it's saying these will be the rules because we want to impose a hard border.
BOOM! Headshot!
Yeah, okay, this is where I'm going to stop following the original video and I'm going to do my end of video rant. The worst part of this all is the sheer incompetence of Guy Verhofstadt. But at the same time, it painfully shows the sheer hypocrisy of the European Union. And don't get me wrong, I used to be a great fan of the European Union, but more and more I'm being confronted with things that clearly show how the European Union isn't for Europe, it's for the Union. And that sounds a little bit weird, but it's only for the politicians that are in it. They decide the rules, and once they decided that this is how it is how it is, no matter how high the hypocrisy goes. For example, does the European Union and the UK need a hard border in Ireland? Yes, we don't, but we want to anyway. Why? Well, because of the rules. Didn't you just say you didn't want it and you weren't going to enforce it? And we're not going to enforce it either. So who will? Well, it has to be done. Okay, you're not answering several questions by saying it needs to be done. The worst part is, Jacob Rees-Mogg is absolutely correct. There have been several rules that the European Union decided upon that have been broken by the European Union because of certain member states. Germany had a deficit that was way higher than what was allowed. Okay, never mind. Italy had a deficit that was way higher than was allowed. Okay, never mind. Greek had a deficit that was way higher than allowed. Well, okay, we make a small problem out of that one, but we will buy out the banks. So the banks have a problem with the Greek going bankrupt. So we buy out the banks, so the banks have their money, and then the European goes back to ask the money back from Greece. Because, hey, you know what? You can default on a bank, but you cannot default on the European Union. Well, wait a second. That's not what the European Union was supposed to be doing. Yeah, but it made sense. Okay, fair enough. Europe had agreements when it came to the open borders. People that came to Europe as refugees would go to the first country they would go to, and from there they would stay, and the European Union might replace them. So Germany says, you know what? Come to Europe, everyone from Syria, you are welcome. And suddenly we have an influx of millions of migrants in the last few years, and they absolutely ignore the European rules we made about legal immigration and refugee statuses. But the European Union is not acting on it. So, this is not an example Jacob Rees used, this is one of mine, thank you. But there are many examples in where the European Union is breaking its own rules, but no one is holding the European Union accountable because no one can. And this is kind of the point that Jacob Rees-Mogg is making. So will there be a border or won't there be a border? Well, we want one, but we don't want one, and then we do want one. So the European Union is filled with hypocrisy, and pointing it out angers the beast. I guess this is why Article 13 is so important. But for the time being, that's on the long run, so I'm not going to comment on that one. Anyway, like, share and subscribe if you feel so inclined. Criticism, as always, is more than welcome. And I hope to see you all next time.